that because of the bravery of the people that you see standing behind me, we were able to rescue nearly 1,000 people and put about 300 people in shelters. No loss of life here. And that's an extraordinary tribute to the men and women you see standing behind me, and they deserve a round of applause and your respect. I had the opportunity to talk to many of them and thank them personally. Did what you do when you're from New Jersey, brought them some pizza. You know, I shouldn't go hungry. But what we owe them much more than that is just our continued thanks. I want to thank all the elected officials who are here. I want to thank Senator Sarlo for touring with me today. It's an important message and symbol to send to the people of this state. Senator Sarlo and I have a lot of fun with each other in Trenton at times. But you know what? In moments like this, there are not Democratic or Republican neighborhoods who have been affected by this storm. They are New Jerseyans. And he's sworn to represent those folks, as am I, and I'm very happy that he found the time to be with me here this morning and tour with me. And, Paul, thank you for your leadership. I said last night we moved into a phase of post-storm recovery. And our job has moved from saving lives now to rebuilding them. And we must work together to return New Jersey to normalcy as quickly as possible. That's what people expect of us now. You know, I said Monday was the time for us to hunker down. The light of day on Tuesday was a time for us to feel sad and sorrowful. Wednesday was to begin to plan, and Thursday start to act. And that's what we're doing today. I'm glad to say that FEMA, as the President signed the declaration for Bergen County and Somerset County this morning. So I was telling all the people in the neighborhood in Moonachie, get on the phone, 1-800-621-FEMA. If you're in Bergen County and you've sustained damage or loss because of the storm, 1-800-621-FEMA. You can register right now. FEMA representatives will be out to your home in 24 to 48 hours to assess the damage and to give you some money to tide you over. If that's what you need and what you're entitled to, they'll get it to you right away. I want to thank Congressman Pascrell for being here. He also represents the partnership that we're going to have to forge over the coming months and years as we rebuild from this storm. There's got to be an effective partnership between the federal government, the state government, and our county and local governments. And Congressman Pascrell, I can tell you, has already been at work for us and for the citizens of this state, securing needed funding to try to help people recover, get people back to work. And so, Congressman, thank you for your hard work as well. I appreciate it. We're in the triage and attack phase now of the storm, so we can restore power, reopen schools, bring public transportation back online, and allow people to return to their homes if they've been displaced. First, power. Last night, we were at 2,036,823 customers without power. As of noontime today, we were down to 1,783,000 without power. Remember, at the height of the storm, we were at 2.7 million. So we're 1 million more customers have been restored from the height of the storm. I've also met this morning with the CEOs of all the 3 major electric companies in the state, JCP&L, PSE&G, and Atlantic City Electric, and summoned to New Jersey the CEOs of their parent companies, First Energy and Pepco, and obviously Ralph Izzo of the PS Group. I made it clear to them that whatever playbooks they had were to be thrown out, because we've never faced anything like this before. I yesterday spoke to 12 of my governor colleagues around the country, Republicans and Democrats. All of them agreed to send workers to New Jersey to restore power. The president gave me his word yesterday that if it was going to take them too long to drive here, that he would send C-130 transport planes to load their equipment and themselves and fly them to New Jersey. We've met with FEMA this afternoon with all the utility company executives, and I told them that they weren't leaving the building until they gave FEMA the list of personnel they would need in order to get power restored much more quickly than what they've announced publicly so far. And as I left Trenton today to come here, I can tell you that I was told by my staff that those meetings as to JCP&L and Atlantic City Electric were successful and completed, and that hopefully by the time I get back to Trenton, the PSE&G meeting will be successful and completed, and those resources are already headed to New Jersey. Bob McDonald of Virginia is sending 1,500 workers from Virginia. John Kasich in Ohio sending 700 workers from Ohio, even though they have challenges in Ohio that they're dealing with right now. Governor Kasich ordered the sending of 700 people, and they're on their way to New Jersey now. Governor LePage from Maine sending people down. Governor Patrick from Massachusetts sending people from Massachusetts, even though they're still dealing with some problems. He said, Chris, I saw what happened to your state. Your problems are bigger than mine. I'm sending my guys down there. So we've had cooperation, and you're going to see the results of that because the power will be restored much more quickly than it would have been otherwise because of these new people. I also directed New Jersey Natural Gas today to have the natural gas system turned off from Moonachie to Island Beach State Park effective immediately. As you may have seen in some of the news reports, there were frequent fires burning in that area, especially in Moonachie. It's simply too dangerous a situation, and we needed to create as safe an environment on the barriers as possible, and this will help ensure fires are not created and do not run without our ability to put them out. We had too much destruction of property there, and it was going to be too dangerous to get electrical workers onto the island as long as we still had gas running in a system that obviously had become extraordinarily unstable. You saw, if you've seen any of the film from that stretch between Bay Head and Island Beach State Park, there are literally homes in the middle of Route 35 knocked off of their foundations, and gas fires burning throughout that area of the Jersey Shore. Certainly the most devastated part of the Jersey Shore from Bay Head to Seaside Heights. And so we ordered the closing of it. That's going to mean that New Jersey Natural Gas is going to have to rebuild the entire system from Moonachie to Seaside Heights, but I could not take the risk to life and to further property just to save some money for New Jersey Natural Gas. And so we ordered it closed. It is closed immediately as of now, and they'll work with FEMA to begin the process of rebuilding that system. People who are coming home need to be very careful since the natural gas will be emitted into the air. Now, so you'll smell that methane smell from natural gas. There's nothing dangerous about it, but we have to get all the gas out of the system. So once it's closed down, that'll be pumped out of the system as well. So people who live in that area will detect the smell of that methane kind of smell. It's not environmentally dangerous. We've worked with the DEP and the BPU to ensure that, and it will clean out that system then, so then we can have people come there safely and begin to restore power on the barrier islands. A few updates on our progress. Specifically, ACE, Atlantic City Electric, is expected to have all power back up on the mainland by tomorrow night, and all power back up on the barrier island parts that they cover by Saturday night. And so the Atlantic City Electric folks have begun to send their linemen to central and northern New Jersey because there's very little work left to be done in that area. We'll have, as I said, a number of people coming from all across the country. We'll continue to update you as they arrive in New Jersey, and you're going to see trucks from states as far away as Alabama and Mississippi in New Jersey over the course of the next couple of days. Governor Bryant from Mississippi and Governor Bentley from Alabama also sent people up here, and you'll see their trucks. Second thing we have to do is get people to traverse on the roads again. We're seeing some traffic come back. We're working to clear the roads as quickly as possible. Commissioner Simpson deployed all his assets. Over 800 employees at DOT have been working around.
Okay, a little trouble there with Governor Christie's signal. He's coming to us from Moonachie, his latest briefing. I think we're back with him. Let's listen.
We have that down to 20 state roads. So they've done an extraordinary job. All the downed trees have been removed from the roadways on state roads, with the exception of the ones that involve down power lines. We don't let the DOT guys touch those. Not safe for them to do it. The utility companies have to come in and do it. And now I've instructed DOT to talk to the county OEMs to deploy DOT resources to help the counties with any county roads that they have yet been able to clear. Massive work, unfortunately, in the coastal area, including large sections of Route 35, is ongoing and will probably take days, if not weeks, to complete. Statewide New Jersey Transit bus service resumed this morning on an 80% of normal schedule. And we should be able to get that to 100%, I would think, by Monday when people begin to go back to work in earnest. The River Line light rail service between Camden and Trenton is resumed. The New Jersey Transit Rail, Newark Light Rail, and Hudson-Bergen Light Rail service will remain suspended until further notice. To offer added convenience for transit customers, Transit has extended the validity period for their monthly passes until next Wednesday on November 7th, so they have to worry about buying new monthlies if they're monthly customers. Listen, we sustained significant damage to our New Jersey transit system. 25% of our rail cars were located in the Hoboken and Kearney rail yards. If you've seen anything about what's gone on Hoboken and Kearney, you know that means we have rail cars underwater as well. That means 25% of our rail cars are damaged and now need to be assessed for whether or not they're workable anymore or whether they need to be replaced. I had a conversation just this morning with Federal DOT Secretary Ray LaHood, who has told me that they are, at the President's order, staging rail cars to replace those rail cars for us immediately, and we'll have the Department of Defense transport those rail cars here to New Jersey to get New Jersey Transit up as quickly as possible. But we not only need cars, we need signals, and we need rails to run on. The New Jersey coastline in particular was devastated, and it is going to take us some period of time to rebuild the track of the New Jersey coastline. Newark Penn Station has been flooded. Hoboken is flooded. And so as a result, for a lot of these rail systems, we don't have a terminus to go to. So as those things become, and we're using DOD assets to dewater those places and check them out and then test the signaling systems, it's going to take us a little while to get that back and up and running. By 6 o'clock tonight, I should have an estimate from DOT as to when those New Jersey Transit rail systems can be back up and running, at least in some modified schedule. Third thing we need to ensure is clean water. Now, we need to make sure our communities have access to clean water so people can return to their homes. Power outages are creating a huge challenge, which is why we want people to be on the lookout for boil water advisories, which have been issued for 11 of our drinking systems across the state, down from 12. We've listed the advisory in New Brunswick. Their water was tested and tested clean. We have 14 other facilities that have significant operational problems, which include both power issues and flooding issues. We have at least 19 wastewater facilities with significant problems. The biggest facility with the greatest problems is the PVSC. While this operation now has electricity, it was severely flooded, and we are working with them to try to dewater their system and bring the operation back up as soon as possible. But obviously, it's going to take some time. So last night I signed an executive order to establish mandatory statewide water use restrictions. Some key restrictions we need folks to remember and pay attention to. Prohibits outdoor washing of pavements, prohibits lawn and landscape watering, prohibits outdoor washing of cars. Also, just as a common sense rule, be mindful of the amount of water you're using every day. Maybe shorten your shower up a little bit. Don't leave the faucets running. Every bit of water that gets pushed into these wastewater systems creates more and more of a stress on a system that is under a great deal of stress already. We've gotten, though, with the help of FEMA, we have gotten great response on generators, and we have generators now at all of these places. But as with PVSC, electricity is not the problem. PSE&G restored electricity there, but the damage that was done to the plant is not allowing them to work at full speed. So we need to get those fixed, and we're working on that. Fourth, the presence of FEMA for both individual public assistance and business assistance. FEMA has a regional coordinator on the ground. He has been pulled into every response effort currently underway to provide additional resources and assets. I mentioned last night we're working with an outside company that will be 100% dedicated and focused to working with FEMA on preparing and filing paperwork for localities as it pertains to cleanup. We need to move fast and efficiently here. We've got to get people to work rebuilding things in our communities. So the Department of Community Affairs is going to be pushing out all the information to the mayors across the state so that you'll know the contact numbers of this company. Is the same company that worked with Mississippi in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina to help you just with the paperwork, to make sure you don't miss out on benefits that your town is entitled to or reimbursements that you're entitled to at the municipal or county level from FEMA. And so we've contracted with that company, and DCA will be pushing that information out to the mayors in the next 48 hours. Can't emphasize enough, beginning right now, people can start registering for assistance. So the sooner you get the process started, the better. All New Jersey residents with any damage can call in the affected counties. Again, anyone with damage can register. So get on, register, and they'll be out to assess your damage quickly. I told you the number, 800-621-FEMA. Please do that. Department of Labor also announced that it approved our request for 8 New Jersey counties to qualify for federal disaster unemployment assistance as a result of the destruction caused by Hurricane Sandy. This special assistance program pertains to people in and around portions of New Jersey that were declared a disaster area: Atlantic, Bergen, Cape May, Essex, Hudson, Middlesex, Monmouth, Ocean, Somerset, and Union counties. Federal disaster unemployment assistance is available for persons, including self-employed individuals, who are living or working in the affected counties at the time of the disaster, who are unemployed as a direct result of the damages caused by the storm. If you are unemployed because of the disaster that began on October 28th, you should first file for unemployment insurance benefits through the Internet by going to njuifile.net, njuifile.net. I can also say that beginning tomorrow, we'll have FEMA disaster recovery centers set up in every impacted county beginning tomorrow, as well as mobile units that will move around counties. This will ensure on-the-ground assistance for every community, individual needs, and public assistance needs. Furthermore, it's likely that additional counties will be added to the disaster declaration following continued damage assessments by our local officials, New Jersey OEM, and FEMA. Fifth and finally, rebuilding. This will be the next phase once we deal with the immediate post-storm aftermath and return life to normalcy. I want to be clear, this will be the longest phase of the recovery, and we have a lot to do. And any of you who have seen the things that have gone on in your neighborhoods here or at the Jersey Shore understand that we have a lot of work ahead of us. But I am absolutely confident that working together, we'll be able to rebuild those things that are so important to our state's economy and so important to our state's character. I said to New Jerseyans, I share the same sorrow they feel about the results of this disaster. I feel the sense of loss as well for the things that are so important to the culture of this state. But I also told them that we cannot let sorrow replace resilience, and that the resilience and the strength of the people of this state has always been our greatest character trait. And so we need to work together, use that strength and that character to be able to make sure that we do as elected officials what we've been sworn to do for the people of this state, and that as citizens we help our neighbors, do what we need to do, and let the spirit of that helpfulness that was all around us on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday continue as we go through this rebuilding phase. So I thank all of you for being here, and I'm available to take questions from the press.